During a meeting with reporters yesterday, Donald Trump told them, and I quote, "I think we've had one of the most successful 13 weeks in the history of the presidency." Now, anyone who's paid attention to any news in the United States for the last few weeks understands that this is simply not true. First of all, it hasn't even been 13 weeks. You've only been president for 11 weeks, yet you're saying you've had the most successful 13 weeks in presidential history. If you can't even get the number right on how many weeks you've been in office, yeah, things aren't going so well at that point. So my question is to President Trump, what do you think has been so successful about your first 13 weeks? Is it the fact that Michael Flynn, your national security advisor, had to resign after less than a month in office? The fact that both of your Muslim bans have been struck down by the court system? The fact that Kellyanne Conway and Sean Spicer have both invented phony terror attacks that your Republican base believes? Is it the fact that you couldn't repeal and replace Obamacare? Is it the fact that you and your administration are currently under several investigations for potential wrongdoing? Or perhaps it's the fact that your approval rating is at 35% lower than President Obama ever saw it in 8 years in office. So I'm curious as to why you would think you have had a successful 13 weeks. I know you're delusional and you're very narcissistic and you want everybody to think you're the greatest thing that ever happened, but even you have to admit at this point it's kind of been a train wreck that crashed into a dumpster fire at this point. I mean, you've done nothing successful. You have no victories to speak of. And in fact, shortly after you made this comment, the job report numbers came out for March. And instead of adding the projected 180,000 jobs for March, we only added 98,000. There you go. Another failure for you there, Donald Trump. You barely made half of the projected jobs that were supposed to come in the month of March. Everything about this presidency has been terrible. And again, after he made these comments, he launches 59 missiles into Syria. No, Donald, your first 11, not 13, weeks have been an absolute disaster. They've been a foreign policy disaster, an economic disaster, and an environmental disaster. Everything you've done has been awful, and I don't know any other way to say that to you. This hasn't been a success. I mean, seriously, is there one thing you've done right? Is there one thing that you have succeeded on? Is there one area where people have looked at and thought, well, maybe he's not so bad? No, there is not. So far, you were on track to go down as one of the worst, if not the worst, president in United States history. And to be honest, nobody's more happy about that than probably former President George W. Bush, who will get to relinquish his title once you finally leave office. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you've done all those things, please check out all the videos below. Stay up to date with everything we do here at Ring of Fire.